Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of System Shock Radio. I, as always, am your host, Nigel. And sorry for the tardiness, something came up, but we are here, we are live. And before we get into today's episode, just a couple things. First of all, I appreciate all the likes, reactions, comments, shares, all that good stuff. You all have been killing it and continue to do so. And also, remember to go check us out on Instagram at System Shock Radio and a personal Instagram page at the Dark Knight 19. Go follow me there and um, subscribe to my YouTube channel where episodes of System Shock Radio and Tales from the Labyrinth as well. My poetry readings will be archived as well, and of course Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'll be posting. Remember, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is rated and the inspirational posts. Tuesday, Thursday is the poems that I post to my normal pages. So go check those out. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first topic I want to talk about is Jak and Daxter. Now, I've talked about Ratchet and Clank. I've talked about Sly Cooper on this podcast before, and uh, those three. I haven't talked about Jak and Daxter yet, so I want to do that. Those are like the big three when it came to the PlayStation 2 era, help ushering in that new generation for PS2, and Jak and Daxter, no different. And Jak and Daxter is a very, very fun game for many reasons. All three of those big three games that I mentioned, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jak and Daxter, are fun for three very different reasons, I should say. My apologies. Ratchet and Clank is fun because of the gunplay and weaponry, and Sly Cooper is fun because of the stealth and the mini games and stuff. Jak and Daxter, however, is a platforming heaven, a platforming nirvana, if you will. It's a game that's a lot of fun, a game series that's a lot of fun, and a lot of platforming, a lot to do, a lot to collect. It's a collectathon. It was made by Naughty Dog, the creators of Crash Bandicoot, and it definitely shows with that fun collectible element. And it's a game series that I've had a lot of fun playing. I beat Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy, and then I beat Jak 2 just recently over on the PS4. They're remastered to PS4. And Jak 3 I'm playing right now. And um, out of all three games, though, it seems that this one gets the least amount of recognition and hasn't really made too much in terms of like impact and appearances as of recently. Of course, Ratchet and Clank series is still going on and is still like churning out games. In fact, they're about to have a new game, Rift Apart, coming out for PS5. Sly Cooper, most recent game was in 2013, I believe, with Sly 4 Thieves in Time. And it was supposed to have a movie, but unfortunately, because the Ratchet and Clank movie didn't do so well, um, the Sly Cooper movie is now stuck in development hell, as we call it, where nothing's really happening with it. It's kind of just there. It's not outright canceled, but it might as well be. But Jak and Daxter doesn't seem to be like doing too much in terms of impact, which is really a shame because it's such a fun series. It's such a unique series, and a lot of fans of Jak and Daxter, myself included, really hate to see it go. And it's my hope that either the series will be continued or will be rebooted, sort of like what they're doing with Ratchet and Clank, because ultimately it's a series I'm fond of. It's a series that's a lot of fun. The environments are very colorful, at least for the first game, and then the second game, him onward, took it in a completely different direction, and it worked for the most part. It seemed completely different, took a complete 180, became a lot more dark, a lot grittier, a lot more serious, a lot more serious, I should say, and really evolved the character, and really stepped it up in terms of the difficulty. Now, Jak 2 is a very, very difficult game in a lot of respects. There is not a lot of checkpoints. It's almost everything is gonna hit you, and you will get hit a lot in this game. And but it's still a lot of fun. And then Jak 3 is easier than Jak 2, but still continues that um, sort of trend that Jak 2 started with. Uh, Jak with being a bit grittier and stuff. And the series is a lot of fun. So if you have a PS4, or even you still have a PS3, I believe it's still available on PS3. Go check out this series. It's a lot of fun. It's really engaging. You'll spend quite a bit of time playing it, I imagine, and collecting stuff and going around and interacting with all the characters. A lot of the characters are fleshed out. Oh, Nehemiah, good to see you. A lot of the characters are really uh, fleshed out and vibrant. And of course, this is from Naughty Dog, creators of Crash Bandicoot, and a lot of the stuff is there as well. But um, be that as it may, if you get the chance, I definitely recommend it. But uh, we're gonna move on to a movie I just watched recently, and it's a movie I hadn't seen in a while, and going back to rewatch it, I fell in love with it over again, and that is The Truman Show. So, this is a movie starring Jim Carrey, and basically, the plot, it's kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie. It's about this guy named Truman Burbank, who his entire life is a TV show, but he doesn't realize it. His almost entire life is artificial, and um, hardly anything is real except him. He's like the only real part of it, and it's actually a really interesting movie, and it's definitely one that I think you guys should check out. It's really fantastically done. Jim Carrey plays the role really well. It's got a mix of comedy, but also a lot of drama as well. Oh, and a lot of dark undertones to it, which is really cool and a bit of a deviant from the norm for Jim Carrey. But it's a movie that I don't find too many people talking about as much, and it's a really good movie. It's a fantastic role for Carrey, but I don't really see too many people talking about this movie that much. Probably because Jim Carrey has sort of been typecast, and this isn't a well, there is some funny Jim Carrey, but this isn't really a funny Jim Carrey role. And I think that's one of the main reasons people are like, "What the? Wait, this isn't funny, Jim Carrey. This is a more serious Jim Carrey." But it's definitely a role he plays off really well, and he pulls it off extremely well. So go check it out. And it's streaming on Hulu. That's where I found it, but it may be available on other platforms as well. All right, so next we're gonna move on to the Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble was last Sunday, and this year was all right. It was pretty fun for the most part. Edge came back and won the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble is an event I always love. It's probably my absolute favorite WWE event of the year. It's so fun. It's so unpredictable. Anything can happen in the Royal Rumble as it goes, and we've seen moments made, legends made by winning the Royal Rumble. It's led to some of the biggest moments in wrestling history, and it's a lot of fun to check out. And it's something that can either be good or bad, but when it's good, it's really good. And so, this year, like I said, not the greatest Royal Rumble, especially with the pandemic and everything. It felt like there was some stuff they could have did, but some stuff they weren't able to do. But for what it's worth, they still did really, really good with it this year. This was a really solid Rumble. I think it's not, like I said, it's not the best, not the worst, but it's not the best. That distinction, it's actually a toss up for the best Royal Rumble. Usually there's two main Rumbles that people point to when it comes to the best Royal Rumble. The first is 1992, and that's the Rumble where Ric Flair won. And the second one they usually look at is 2001, where Stone Cold Steve Austin won it. And both have very good claim to being really good Royal Rumbles. I've actually watched both of them, and the main reason why a lot of people say those are the best is because of the talent pool that was there at both those times. You had guys like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, and I believe Bret Hart was there at this time. And then over in 2001, you had guys like Kane and The Rock and The Big Show who returned on this night. So, really good talent pools and really fun stuff from both Rumbles. But nevertheless, we're gonna move on to the Fantastic Four. Now, out of all the superhero teams in comic books, mainly in Marvel Comics, that's what we're sticking with here. Uh, the Fantastic Four and the X-Men are probably two of my absolute favorite teams. They're a lot of fun. The characters are very fleshed out and very distinct from one another. But the caveat is they cannot seem to have a good movie. There have been three Fantastic Four movies in history, and all three of them. Well, actually, there's been more, or I should say, but the three that the people know about are the one in 2002, I believe. Let me see. I believe it was 2002 where the first one was. Uh, let's see, 2005 actually. Oh wow, I felt like so much longer ago. But the one in 2005, and then Rise of the Silver Surfer later on, and then the 2015 one. None of those were good. Not even the original, which originally came out in the 80s, I believe, were good. They cannot seem to make a good Fantastic Four movie, which is weird because the Fantastic Four is a really solid team that has had good stories, of course, and they just can't seem to make a good movie, which is really weird for the Fantastic Four. It should be something that can work. Now, what's my theory as to why? I think it mainly has to do with them deviating a little too much from the source material and making the characters bland. The characters are far from bland and one dimensional. They're actually very distinct. You got Mr. Fantastic, the leader, the genius, the smartest, and then you have the Invisible Woman, who's like the mother of the group. She's very strong and bold and confident. Then you got Human Torch. He's cocky. He's arrogant, but he gets the job done. And then you got the Thing, who while ugly on the outside, is really sweet on the inside. Very bold, very strong. Should be easy, but yet they can't seem to do it. Now, the Fantastic Four are on their way to the MCU, so hopefully the MCU can make a good Fantastic Four movie. But in the meantime, this is what we have. And finally, I want to talk quality over quantity. Now, let's say you're going to the grocery store and you're gonna pick up a box of cereal. Well, everybody loves cereal, almost everybody, but there's two boxes of cereal. Well, there's a very cheap brand, but it's not very good. And then there's a bit more of an expensive brand, but it's very good. Which one would you choose? A lot of people would probably, if they were on a budget, of course, they'd choose the cheaper option and just roll with it. But I'd probably pick the better brand, and that's because the quantity of something, you can have numerous of something and be bad, but you can have one of something and it be fantastic. Remember the episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob had a cook-off against King Neptune, and Neptune made like a whole like mountain of Krabby Patties, and SpongeBob made one. But SpongeBob's one Krabby Patty was better than King Neptune's huge mountain of Krabby Patties, and that's because when it comes to sticking to a smaller quantity, you can develop it further. You can really really bring it along further, right? And that's why Oftentimes people don't have a lot of friends and they're upset like, why don't I have so many friends? I make the argument that I'd rather have two good friends than 10 and bad fake friends and who aren't there for my best interest, don't care about me at all. Quality over quantity, I should say. It's definitely not quality. It's definitely not quantity over quality, because quality ultimately wins out. I want one of the best rather than five of the worst, if that makes any sense. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Peace.